Hey guys, so I'm back with another video today, and this is my fifth vlog, if you want to put it into that sense. I've watched over my videos, like I don't really do that with the first one that I recorded. And sorry, excuse my voice here. I know it sounds very raspy and stuff. I had like a sore throat the last 2 days. But anyways, as I was saying, like I don't usually watch over my videos that I record. And I actually watched back like the first video I posted, the second one, not fully, like just like a few minutes here and there. And of course, I can see like, a slight change in the way that I talk, like getting my points across and stuff. But there's still a lot of work to be done. And with the last video that I recorded, I didn't even put a vlog number on there. So like that's how like maybe I am, of course, diving into different territories. I was talking about Somalia and, going back home, trying to build with the people and, just being part of the progression as a nation. So today's the fifth vlog, and I wanted to slowly, touch back on a few of these subjects that I was talking about originally when I first started. So I was talking about, anxiety and how I've been feeling. And I'll give you a slight update on that as well. So with my anxiety, I've been getting, I can't say fully better, but the stage that I reached like when I was first recording is like a bit of relief in a way. And I'm still in that same, little relief era, if you could call it that. There's still a lot more to be done, but I feel like sort of like when you're charging your phone, like it charges steady, nicely up to around 60, 70, 80%. And then after like 70, 80% just takes a bit slow. I don't know if you just realize it, but it feels like it's taking forever, the last part to charge up. So definitely progression and any sort of change and recovery will take place, of course, but towards the end of any sort of recovery, it will be, more patience is required, and it will, of course, bring out a lot more in you, and you're gonna have to just keep going, even though like you want to get better every day or every week. So I'm not saying like, of course, I am like close to healed or whatnot, but at least I'm doing much better than before. I feel much better. I can, think clear, and with my articulation as well, I feel like it is getting there. Even though like during conversations and stuff, I do still like snap out and back in. It's like, like when you're about to say test waters, you put a foot in there, you take it out, you do it again. Like instead of just being completely there at the conversation. And I realized why that's the reason as well. Like I'm just so self-focused. When you keep thinking about how you're coming across, and what you're feeling, I'm just so internalized that I can't experience externally. And I'm taking it out on myself, like what's wrong, like why am I not, like 100% there at the conversation, like beating myself up, like what's wrong in a way. But the more I think back, it's just literally being more relaxed and, engaging with your surroundings and the people you're with, rather than just, keep tuning back into yourself. So it's just gonna keep, ruining your experience, and you won't be able to be fully in tune with what's going on. But anyways, what I wanted to talk about today is, like with the actual anxiety itself, there's two sides always to anything. So there's one side that's going to make you feel like anxious, nervous, the anxiety itself, the overthinking, all the classic symptoms and stuff. You're going to feel that on one end. And that's the end that's like most focused on, because of course it's what's uncomfortable and it's what's, magnified. And also it's what the mainstream people, the corporate people deal with, like, oh, you've got anxiety, take this tablet, do this method, do this, that. It's what's being focused on. But the other end, where a lot of people don't, put two together, as in realize, is from what we're seeing today. Like, for example, I'll touch on, much wider subject here, but, hopefully it all makes sense. So in the Middle East, of course, like the war that's going on, I can't really call it a war, but with Palestine and Israel, the conflict that's ongoing, and, you know, they're bombing kids, and, you know, like, the leaders, the Arab nations. Of course, Palestine is an Arab, you know, country and stuff. So their own people, like the Arabian region and stuff, you know, their presidents, kings, whatever they've got over there, they don't really stand with them. And when you really ask yourself what the reason is like, a lot of people will say money. That is right, like, it is because of money, but at the same time, they've lost their, you know, morals, if I could say. It's like a sort of a moral quandary. It's a word I stole from Piers Morgan. But it is definitely sort of like selling yourself. So I think that's the actual meaning of selling yourself. Like, and the reason why they reach that, you know, that sort of stage or state or whatever it is because, you know, anxiety keeps you away from certain things, like from behaving wildly. You know, you're so in tune with yourself, you can't do certain things. Well, you can, but it's stopping you from doing these things and acting out like in a way that's overconfident, if I could say. So these leaders, kings or presidents or whatever, and these like public figures, they are so out of touch to the point where, forget anxiety, they've come to the other end, to the point where now they're so free, and any sort of, you know, like, as people, we're like, what keeps us in check is usually our brain. So either for the better or for the worse. Like, in a worse, in a sense, like, don't do this, like something that's good for you, you'll think of something like anxiety-wise, like, oh, this is gonna make me feel this, I'll feel that, I'll get this sort of response that I don't like. But for them, they don't have that filter, so they've reached the other end. So literally, they are thinking, but they're thinking in terms of step, you know, like just going out, anyone's out of, you know, sorry about that, going out of their way and just plowing down whatever's in their way, and literally no restrictions of any sort. So it's strange to say this, I've never said it, but you've got to thank anxiety sometimes. And it's not, you know, the main reason why these people are the way they are. Of course, I'm a religious person, you know, I'm Muslim, so of course, religion, I believe, of course, will stop you from doing a lot of things. And looking at it from a religious lens, a lot of these, you know, people or so-called public figures, who knows what their life is like, you know, just because they dress a certain way, or, you know, they speak a certain language, or they have a certain culture, don't mean like they are religious, you know. So we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. So all of these things, of course, are a factor of what's making them the way they are. Just the same way as the negatives are making me, well, not now, but before, is what made me like the person that I was. So anxiety, in a sense, is what's running at the background of everyday, you know, lives, situations, people's, you know, experiences, and just the way people feel. You know, each emotion and each situation has a certain level of anxiety included. When it's out of balance is when it's like a alarming sort of situation or a alarming case, and that's when you usually do your little research and you look into it and you try to, you know, find yourself or find ways to get better. But the best way for someone to actually manage life and live with life is literally having the, you know, the scale I was saying earlier, just right in the middle. It's like a balanced level. Like, at certain situations, it's healthy to feel anxiety, definitely. And we shouldn't like avoid it completely. It is something that's built within us. Everyone's got sort of their own little range, and some is just natural, and some is just, you know, environmentally it's put them in that state, and some is just temporary. So regardless, we can't get rid of anxiety, and it's not good when it's putting us completely in a box, nor is it good when we've got no anxiety to the point where just literally doing anything and everything, literally so unfiltered to the point where we've lost all our morals and we're making, you know, I can say like disgusting or silly choices in life. So that's my little analysis I had for the past hour or two. Like, I just wanted to clear this, of course, And I'd like to add to this as well. So what I will do is I will find like different cases where I can actually put this in theory for you lot. So I used the one where I was talking about, of course, the Saudi public figures, presidents and so forth, and what's going on in the Middle East. But I'd like to put this in a better perspective so it's more clear. But anyways, I am trying to articulate more and slowly bring different topics onto my channel on here. And I want to grow as well, so I am having a few viewers here and there. Those viewers that are viewing me, I'd like to take time out on this video and say thank you for your support. I might not know all of you, but I think I might know one or two of you. But thank you for the support. It means a lot, and of course, I am trying my best to keep better content coming, and hopefully be able to get my messages across much better. So without holding you lot up, what I will do is I will make a quick reel right after this video on here, and I'll try to squeeze in a video, hopefully before the end of this week, definitely. And we'll try to, of course, expand on this topic. And yeah, definitely I'll bring you along to the next video and the journey as well. And I hope you're having a good day. And I'll see you on the next one.